Hello and welcome to the Sister Sanditon. Well, you asked and we have answered, ladies and gentlemen. To all of our loyal viewers who have been asking for us to review Emma, this is it. Tonight's the night.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes.
Although it is a little bit weird. We have to be branching away from Sanditon.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's all we've eaten, slept, talked about for the last so many months of our lives.
Seems like years.
Yes. Well,
it seems like
quarantine.
yes. Can't remember what life was like before Sanditon.
No, but
Yes.
you asked if we could review Emma, and so we've watched it.
Yes.
And we are going to review it. And what
Yes.
we're going to be doing in this review is kind of comparing it to our most favorite version of Emma, which is the Gwyneth Paltrow version.
Which was filmed in 1996, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of what we're going to do, is tell
Yes.
what we liked about it, what we didn't like, and compare and contrast the two.
Yes. So for those of you who love the new Emma, we may be in a slightly different camp, because this was not our favourite adaptation.
No.
There were
we're
good
not.
points, but yes, we thought we'd do a little side-by-side
Yes.
and sort of compare.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let's start off with the first thing that immediately hit me, which
Yes.
was the music.
Yes.
Which was absolutely atrocious.
I have to agree with you. Some of the classical things were all right. They weren't terrible. They were quite quirky. The weird sort of Irish folk pub
Hymns,
music.
old
It was
hymns.
yes, it was
What does it have to do with Jane Austen?
I don't
And
know.
it was jarring. I mean, it was just be
Yes.
so loud. You'd hear the dialogue and then...
And they sounded like they were off the old Irish hill. I mean, it was what? What was it? It did not fit
I did
at
not
all.
understand
No,
what
I
it had to do
I don't
with
know.
Austen at all.
Throughout the
Whereas-
whole thing, it
yes.
was just awful.
Whereas
I don't
in
like
the Gwyneth Paltrow...
Yes. Yes.
The
Beautiful.
beautiful intro with
Yes.
the little...
There's beautiful lilting melodies.
Yes.
There's beautiful piano. There's flute. There's all different things. It's classical, but it's country simple too. Simply elegant.
Yes.
So it's not.
Yes. It was sweet and gentle.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet and genteel. Exactly.
Yes.
I probably wrote that, didn't
I
I?
probably did. I took the words right out of your mouth, didn't I?
Exactly. I know.
All right. Now, you did not like the first impression we got of Mr. Woodhouse.
No.
Tell us why.
Yes, he comes. Well, okay, he comes bounding down the staircase. I don't know how many at a time, and he leaps down the last two,
Right.
or three, and just jumps and it.
Obviously, they were trying to do that to be funny.
Yes,
correct?
but I thought Mr. Woodhouse was
Because
supposed to
he's
be
supposed to be an invalid,
sort
and
of
so
an
they were
invalid.
doing it almost on purpose. You know what I mean? Because he's a hypochondriac, I think they wanted to show that,
show that
he's
he's not
actually spry
really-
and just fine, but he just thinks he's got
Yes,
problems.
yes.
But you didn't
Yes,
like it. It didn't
I
work.
thought it was too weird.
They didn't
Yeah.
play him off like that in the other version.
I don't think
he
so.
Was he was a hypochondriac, and he
Yes.
was an older gentleman who
Yes.
wasn't hopping around, which
Right.
made more sense. He
Right.
was her father, and he
Right.
was-
And she's the youngest daughter of two.
yeah.
So I mean, she takes care of him.
Yes.
He's, he does take his little walks around the
Yes, and
garden,
he was
but I
sort
don't.
of fragile.
Yes.
She
A
had to
little
take
fragile.
care of him.
And I thought he was perfect in the end. Emma, be careful, the baby. It might have an infection. I mean, he just, he was hilarious in the old one, and
Perfect.
cautiously, feeble, sort
Yes,
of like,
yes. And the very next thing, of course, or the first thing that we thought about when we first lay eyes on Emma,
Yes.
is her hair.
Yes. Did anyone like her hair? Comment if you did. The ringlets were so.
It looked like an
small.
80s spiral perm.
I mean,
it took me right back to the 80s. I thought, put a denim jacket on the girl, and there you have it.
oh my! I just was not a fan. It was
No.
It was very severe, and it was also just very. The ringlets were so tight and
Yes.
so. I mean, of course, it was fake. I think it was a hairpiece, but it was just not soft and
No.
beautiful.
It looked
To
like
me,
it had a
was
bunch
too-
of hairspray on it.
Yes,
It was-
crunchy
no.
as it can
Yeah,
be.
Crunchy, exactly. Yes,
Didn't
well,
like it.
one thing that I did love, which I loved about both versions, is the lively, beautiful colors,
Yes,
right? We have
yes.
salmon, we have turquoise, we have green, we have blue, and with
Robin's
the
like-
white
yes.
molding and the,
Yes,
it was
in her
absolutely-
house and the costumes,
Yes.
both, I think.
Yes, both.
Right?
This one even more so. I mean, the other one seemed a little bit more realistic almost to me.
Yes.
The Gwyneth Paltrow version. It
costumes.
still had the bright costumes and
Yes.
the bright walls, and this one was like, took it up. It was like
Yes.
it on crack.
Yes.
It was like, whoa!
Mhm.
Their costumes were just off the charts.
Yes.
They were amazing.
They were amazing. They
Amazingly
were
done.
beautiful costumes. The pink coat, the little Spencer
With-
jacket that she wears, so much detail. All the little
Yes,
tucks
on the
and every little
arms,
thing.
on the back,
beautiful.
the yellow one, how
Yes.
it went into the...
Yes, lots of pleats and lots of material.
I was in
Beautifully done.
heaven as far
You-
as that.
Yes.
With this 2020 version.
Yes.
The eye candy was
2020. Yes.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
But I thought that about the other Emma too.
I liked the
watched
other one
it.
too.
I thought it was
Yes.
gorgeous. This was just over the top
Yes.
gorgeous, but I
Yes.
still enjoyed it. All right, so let's move on to the wedding.
Okay.
Like we said, she had the absolutely gorgeous
She had the
pink
beautiful
jacket,
pink jacket.
but a funny hat that didn't really match.
Yes, her hat didn't quite match. I
but
also
that's
think
all right.
yes. I also think my first impression of the wedding was that where was everybody? Did they only have 10 friends in Highbury? There were about 10 people, 10 couples there. And I thought, well, the church is half empty. Where is everyone?
Yeah,
And Mr. Weston is a man of standing.
right.
He's a gentleman. And I thought he would have more people. And, Emma being...
They ran out of extras that day or something. I
Perhaps
don't
they
know.
were low on the budget. They didn't want to pay anyone their extra fee.
Well,
yes.
we see Emma being rude to Mrs. Bates right at the beginning.
Miss
right
Bates.
at the church. Yes, Miss Bates.
Don't forget, she's a spinster,
yes,
dear.
Yes, and she is so ungracious.
Yes. Well, and I mean, okay, of course, she calls across the church pew, which is out loud and echoey, and it's a little awkward.
Yes.
But
we know that about
we
Miss
know
Bates.
that about
and
Miss
we see
Bates.
in the Gwyneth Paltrow version, we know that, and we know that Miss Bates is like that.
Yes.
But Emma still is sweet to her.
She's gracious.
She's kind to her.
Yes.
She looks on her like sweet Mrs. Bates.
Yes.
But
And
this
Emma,
one, she just,
Yes.
she barely looked at her. She barely responded. Nothing.
she barely gave her the time of day. She was rude and cold and not very, gracious as she's supposed to be. Old friends with Miss Bates. She's known her since she was a child.
Yes.
And I thought she was rather rude.
Yes. Now, what did you think of Miss Bates? Because the Miss Bates in the Gwyneth Paltrow version was absolutely wonderful. So what did you think of this Miss Bates?
And I love her. I remember her from The Call the Midwives, Chummy, and she was hilarious. I thought she's funny. She's a little comical to look at.
Yes.
She's a larger woman and she's tall and here she comes bounding in and, she's cute.
I thought she was great.
She was very good.
The Miss Bates in the Gwyneth,
unfortunately, she was better.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely incredible.
Absolutely hysterical.
And what is it when she says that hilarious line? I mean, she says a lot of hilarious lines.
Every line she says is hilarious.
But the one that I love, where she says, yes, what is you doing?
Well, when she's talking to Mr. Elton, the priest, and she goes, oh, your sermon on Daniel and the lion's den was just so wonderful. And it left us quite speechless, I say, and we have not stopped talking of it since. Just like
every line.
When she says to French, since you repaired the rivet in Mother's spectacles, not only have they been good as new, they have been better. And she's over the top about it. How can a spectacle be better than new?
Yes.
I mean, it's glasses.
So
anyway,
endearing.
She's hilarious.
So endearing.
Yes, and she
was good
endearing.
in this, but in the other one,
she is endearing.
Was just too sweet, too cute,
Sweet.
and hilarious.
Yes, and sweet. And she's always complimenting.
Yes.
Oh, look at your hair. It looks just like an angel.
Yes.
Angel mother. And she's so sweet.
Yes, that's right.
Looks just like a fairy. She's all over the place. But she is sweet.
Just a few words for the mother. Oh my goodness, yes. Jane, mother. Jane.
Not Jane's Day. It was not Jane's Day for writing. Remember, Jane writes on Tuesday, and this is Thursday.
Oh, not Jane.
I need to stop. I can't help it. These quotes just get me.
Yes.
This to me, the Gwyneth Paltrow version is the funniest version there is. I think the funniest Jane Austen
at the same time, still being the sweetest.
At the
which
same
we'll
time
talk
being the
more
sweetest.
about.
Yes.
We'll get into it. All right. I thought that Mr. Weston looked a lot older.
Yes. Well, he had completely white hair. I like the actor. I've seen him in several other
But
things.
he looked older than her in the other version as well.
Yes.
In the Gwyneth version.
But in the Gwyneth version, I think Miss Taylor was older. Because don't forget, she came to Emma when Emma was just a child. She was about 5 years old when her mother died.
She looked older, and
she's been there for 17 years or so.
I agree with you.
And to me, she's the same age.
I totally agree.
Yes.
Mr. Elton, what do you think about him?
I thought he was too comical. I don't think but of course Jane loves to have the comical parson. That's her thing. The comical clergy.
Yes.
Her father was a clergyman, so she likes to have them comical. Think of Pride and Prejudice and Mr. Collins. They're all comical, but to me, he didn't take his office seriously enough. He was being too serious, like, close your eye. I mean, it was too, like, is he pretending to be funny or is he being serious? To me, I couldn't tell if he was making a joke. And he goes like this and tries to see where's everybody.
Yes, where the
other
one in the Gwyneth version is perfect.
Yes,
Spot
Alan Cummings. He's hilarious.
Spot on.
Yes.
Perfect. Although he's not
quite as attractive as he should have been.
Right.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, because he is supposed to. They say Mr. Elton is supposed to be,
he's
fairly good looking.
Yes.
And in the Gwyneth version, he definitely wasn't so handsome, I don't think. So
no.
This chap did have a little leg up on him on that.
Yes.
But let's see. All right. No one seemed happy at the wedding feast.
No.
What did you think of that?
I thought during the wedding feast, after the wedding, everyone was very just somber. Mr. Woodhouse drawing a long breath.
Yes.
Emma was by herself, not talking to anyone. Miss Bates, eat your food, mother. It's impolite not to eat.
Yes. Gwyneth, everyone is merry and happy.
Yes.
Except for old Mr. Woodhouse, right, who says, oh, you shouldn't eat cake.
You shouldn't be serving cake at your wedding. Where is Dr. Perry? He shall... I think he's over there
eating
having
some
cake.
Yes.
Yes, but they were having fun.
Yeah.
Because everyone is happy that they have found each other.
Right, and they're so happy for the new couple.
Yes,
so
yes.
anyway, I don't know.
I didn't
So
know
after the wedding, we
Mhm.
see Knightley, right? And he's riding up in that gorgeous
Galloping
bright
up.
yellow coat.
Yes, it was
his,
quite stunning.
His clothing as well was just over the top.
Mhm.
I
It
was like,
looked-
this guy's tailor, man. This guy is got it. I was
Yes.
like, Brian, look at his clothes. I said to my husband, look at the clothing on that man, and he even agreed. Wow.
Yes.
He
Well,
looked
and
sharp.
the yellow looked nice with
Yes.
his blonde hair.
But then,
I haven't
then
seen a
they had
blonde
to show the
Knightley.
naked butt.
That
Why?
was very odd. Okay, let's compare to Sanditon for a moment,
Yes.
where everyone wanted to see Sydney's backside, and we were all clamouring to see, where's the shot of Sydney's backside?
We
This
didn't
one-
expect it here,
Well,
and
I
it was
didn't expect it.
unnecessary.
Yes.
It was just unnecessary,
What was the point?
I thought. Yes.
And we didn't even know who he was.
But his house was absolutely
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Die
It
for.
didn't look like a
Gorgeous.
set. It
over
certainly was
the
not.
top.
Yes, it was
Like
not just
everything in this movie. I
Yes.
think everything in this whole thing was very over
yes,
the top.
over,
which
over
I
the
liked.
top. Yes.
Now, what did you think about
Oh, and let me put a side note in.
yes.
When Knightley's walking through his house and he's talking to his housekeeper,
yes.
really quickly, did any of you notice that the housekeeper? I recognized her from the old Pride and Prejudice. She was Mary Bennett
You are
from
good,
the Andrew
yeah.
Davies
I
adaptation.
did not notice that.
Yes.
So you beat me on that
Yes.
one.
I mean, she
so
doesn't have a big part.
what did you think? Did you think Knightley looked too young, or did you think he looked correct?
You know what? Yes, I did. Did you?
No, I mean I thought he looked older than Emma.
Yes, he looked older than
We're
Emma. I
talking
suppose.
about the 2020 version.
Yeah, the
right now.
2020.
We have to be clear
I
about
mean,
that.
to me at first I thought, he looks far too young. He looks much too young. And I looked it up. I had to look him up and see
Yeah.
how old he was. And I was remembering, well, he's supposed to be about 37 or 38.
Right. In the book.
Yes,
you mean.
and he's like, I think he's like 36. So I
So
guess
there you
he's
go.
right on, you know.
Yes. I wondered
He's
why
fine.
he wasn't at the wedding, but didn't you say that in the book
It's
he
in the
isn't
book,
at
he's
the
not.
wedding?
He's in London with his John and Isabel,
Yeah.
with his brother, conducting business of some sort.
But I
Yes.
must admit that for me, Jeremy Northam in the Gwyneth Paltrow version, you couldn't get a more perfect Knightley.
I agree.
He's handsome, but
yes.
not just,
He's a little
like
older.
a model. I mean,
Yes.
he's handsome, very good looking,
Distinguished.
a little older.
He was more distinguished, I think, than this Knightley.
Yes.
This Knightley had all the messy hair,
Yes.
and it was a little bit.
But he
looked a
just
little
is
too
the
much like a
perfect-
surfer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, and this Knightley has too much angst for
I
me.
think so.
Jeremy
He's
Northam had the
yes,
fun, the
too much
playfulness
angst.
that was missing.
Yes, I think he was rather drab. Everything he said was sort of in a monotone voice.
Yes.
He didn't use a lot of animation when he spoke. He wasn't as attractive to me
Yes.
because of that. Jeremy Northam was,
Right.
like you said,
Right.
yes, more colourful.
I agree. Knightley asks about Frank Churchill, right?
Yes.
Coming to the wedding.
Yes, and
And then
Emma
he's
Hester
shocked
says
that
he
doesn't
didn't come.
Right, that he didn't
Right.
come.
Mhm.
And he focuses on honor, right? He says
Yes.
a man can always do his duty.
Yes.
So in other words, he doesn't think it was right that he didn't come,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And they
is
smirk
his
at each
big
other.
thing,
But that's
like-
the end of the conversation,
Yes,
right?
nothing much happening there. Not,
No.
I don't see any kind of spark or really good relationship.
Right.
Whereas in the other version, in the Gwyneth Paltrow version, which is our favorite,
Yes.
they have a camaraderie.
Yes.
They have, who cried the most at the wedding?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Knightley!
Yes.
They were excited
They're
to
best
see
friends.
him.
They tease. They flirt.
Mhm.
They have this wonderful relationship. This one, they didn't have a good relationship, in
I
my
don't
opinion.
think
All they
so.
ever did was fight.
Yes,
You
really.
which makes sense because that they had a good relationship in the Gwyneth one because
Yes. That's how it
he
was in
said
the
he
book.
loved her since she was, or he'd known her whole life.
He'd known her whole life, and
You know.
he said in the book he's loved her since she was 13.
I could do without that part.
That's a little weird. Well,
Yes.
I think he loved her in a different way at the beginning, of
Well,
course.
yes,
it wasn't a
that's-
romantic
that's
love. Yeah.
Well,
Come on. Mr. Knightley's an honourable man.
yes. Well, then
He hasn't done anything until she's 21. He hasn't even made a move.
That's right. And Knightley says about her missing Miss Taylor, "We would not like Emma so well if she did not miss her friend." That's from the from the Gwyneth
From the Gwyneth
Paltrow
Paltrow.
version.
Yes.
So right
We
there, they're
see-
giving us a picture of Emma is a likable person,
Yes.
right? She likes her friend.
Yes.
And then he also goes on to say, right? Emma goes on to say, "I shall miss her, urging myself."
urging me
to
to
better,
better
myself.
myself.
So in other words, she's always striving to be a better person, to be a better version of herself,
And-
she cares for people in general.
Yes.
I don't see any of that
No.
in this 2020 version.
We don't.
All the dialogue in the Gwyneth version between Knightley and Emma is just more poignant. Everything
Yes.
sticks. They have a camaraderie.
Yes.
And she is a better person. And
Yes.
we
She's
like her.
likable,
We
and
like
she
her.
likes other people.
Yes.
And in this version, I feel like everybody is putting her out. Everyone is a nuisance
Yes.
and a bother to her.
Which we'll talk about. We'll talk about how
later.
she interacts with
Yes.
a lot of the characters and how it just
Yes.
it was lacking.
Yes.
So the next scene in the 2020 Emma,
She's at her dressing. She's getting dressed, and she shows her side butt.
yes. So
Side-
they showed us his
bottom-
butt, and
bottom-
they thought they'd show us her
What?
butt too.
It's
It
just
was
so
random.
random and just weird. And I just thought, what?
Very strange.
It's just.
I guess
yeah.
they didn't wear undergarments. I didn't know
I
that.
guess not. But do we need to see that?
No, we don't.
No.
We don't need to see that. The sitting room I thought was absolutely gorgeous.
It was beautiful.
Those
As was her
green
dress
walls,
again.
absolutely
Yes.
gorgeous.
We can go
Yes,
on about
we
this.
can go on.
Every scene,
Every
it is
scene,
beautiful.
yes, yes.
And I did think it was funny during the breakfast scene when Mr. Woodhouse, her father, goes, right there! Did you feel that?
Yes.
There's a draft coming from right here! And he jumps up and
Yes.
he's looking at the window and he thinks there's a
Yes.
draft coming.
I did think
That's
that
his,
was funny.
His
thing.
gimmick in
Right.
this version
Is the
is
draft.
where's the draft? And he's got like all the fire screens, like 6 of
And the
them.
guys know to bring it when he says, so bring the screen,
Yes,
you know. So yeah,
yes.
I like that.
It is
I
funny,
thought
and
that worked.
it's a running joke throughout the
Yeah.
movie. The fire screens, it's funny.
And then Harriet, right? She talks about Mr. Martin.
Yes, Harriet Harriet and her are
Meet
become
each
friends.
other, right?
Harriet
Yes.
comes to her house. We don't really know why or anything,
Yes.
but she comes. And I
We're talking the 2020
2020.
version. Yes.
and I did think it was funny. I looked at Harriet and I thought something is missing. What is going on with her visage? Something is wrong. And then I realized the poor girl had no eyebrows. She was sadly lacking in the makeup department. Paint some
Yes.
eyebrows on the poor thing.
Yes, they
Could
should
you
have filled
tell?
them in a little bit.
She was
Yes,
the only one
I
in the
agree.
whole ship. She had
I agree.
no eyebrows. I
Yes.
thought, something just looks
But
amiss.
Emma
Anyway.
just looks annoyed with her.
And
All
Emma
the
is
time,
annoyed.
Always annoyed.
Yes.
Everything is a burden to Emma in this.
She doesn't
In the
seem...
Gwyneth version, they were friends.
They were
Emma befriended her,
besties.
and they became very close, best friends, right?
Yes.
She truly cares for her.
Yes.
And in the Emma version, whenever
the 2020
Harriet is hurt,
version? Or the, which one?
no, in the Emma version, whenever Harriet is hurting, Emma
Wait,
is
in the
hurting.
Emma version you're saying.
Oh, I'm
version?
sorry, Gwyneth.
I'm-
In the
I'm
Gwyneth version,
confused.
they're both Emma versions.
We go back and forth here. Yes.
Yes, in the Gwyneth version,
Yes.
she's caring towards Harriet, she's
Yes.
loving, and they are best friends.
Yes.
And she doesn't like to see
And the
her.
reason she took Harriet under her wing was because Miss Taylor or Mrs. Weston left. She was her best friend and her
Right.
mentor.
right.
And now she has no one, and she's thinking,
Yes.
well, maybe I could be a mentor, and I
Yes.
could teach her a little bit of what you've taught me. She tells
That's
Mrs.
right.
Weston that. Of
That's
course,
right.
not nearly the same, but
Yes.
and
So-
she wants to bring her up into society and take her
Yes.
under wing and be her best friend.
Right.
She wants to.
It's not a burden to her.
No.
In the Gwyneth one.
Right.
So she comes up
She
in this
chooses
one now, in the 2020, she comes
Mhm.
up with the idea of the match, right, of Elton and Harriet.
And we don't even hear her say anything though.
No.
In the Gwyneth Paltrow, and I think in the book, when right after the wedding, she says, Mr. Elton looks as though he would like the very same service
Right.
done for him.
Yep.
So he will be my next. I will find a match.
Yes.
And she
And
talks
that's it.
about
She's
the
a
matchmaking.
matchmaker. That's the whole thing we know Emma as, right?
Yes.
That's her little thing that she does.
And she doesn't
matchmakes.
talk about it at all.
No.
She made one little statement about it in the carriage with
Yes.
her father in the first 5 minutes, and that was it. She doesn't talk about the match made with Mr. Elton. She doesn't talk about
Nope.
the match she wants to make with Frank Churchill. Nothing.
No.
So it's very odd because
Yes,
she
because
is a
that's what she
matchmaker.
is, a
That's what
matchmaker.
drives her. Yeah, and to make people happy because of it.
Right.
She wants to make them happy.
Right. All right. Let's move on to the haberdashery shop.
Yes.
Right? It was
Forwards.
absolutely amazing. A little too amazing, if you ask
yes.
me, for Highbury, right? It looked more like something you would find in London.
Yes.
I thought.
I thought so too. I mean, it was extravagant. There were so many ribbons and tassels and everything hanging everywhere.
Yes, it was just like my mother's house.
Yeah.
Our mother used to have tassels everywhere. Tassels here, tassels
Hanging off
there.
of the
She
lamps.
obviously got it from,
Yes.
I don't know, she must have seen it
Jane
in
Austen.
London or something.
Yes. It
But
was too fancy.
right there, Harriet,
She's
and her have
choosing
a
ribbons.
dialogue. Which one do you think?
Harriet's like drawing on
That one then, or
Emma,
whatever, right?
yes.
Just so mean.
That one then.
Like,
Yeah, she
there's
just
nothing
has
that
no-
makes us like Emma. And then Miss Bates comes, right?
Yes.
She's
She-
upset with her as well.
Well, and
right?
well, yes, of course, she's always rude to her. But I will say about the costumes. We've said the costumes are so beautiful and lavish. They were a bit too beautiful and lavish
Yes.
as far as Miss Bates is concerned, and Harriet.
Too similar to
Yes.
Emma's. We
Miss
want there to be
Bates-
some distinction.
Yes. Miss Bates is a poor old widow.
Yes.
She should have
Yes.
a plain gown,
And
and
have
her was very fancy.
Yes.
Her purse had tassels hanging off. It was
Way
very
too much,
fancy.
too overdone. Did you
Mhm.
notice that in the Gwyneth Paltrow version, Emma's is the fanciest.
Yes.
And then we have Harriet.
Yes.
And you can tell hers is less
Mhm.
down here.
Mhm.
And then we have Mrs. Bates.
Yes, Miss
I mean,
but don't
Miss-
forget, she's a poor old spinster.
oh, Miss Bates.
Poor Miss
Yes,
Bates.
you see
Yes.
you see the definite
Yeah.
differences in their
Mhm,
appearance.
mhm, yes.
So I didn't think that they did a
Yes.
good job with that.
Yes.
They were too over the top.
Mhm.
All right, so
And
Miss Bates mentions
Jane Fairfax.
Yes.
And it's the first time we've heard of her.
yes.
And she just has this little letter. Oh, I have a letter from Jane, and she almost died. and what's her name
yes, and Emma
saying?
says she's sick of her.
Emma's
you
like,
know.
I'm sick of it. We're like, how is she sick of it already?
Yeah.
I just feel like it sort of comes out of nowhere again.
Right,
They don't have a lot
nothing-
of backstory
nothing
or
kind or caring
No.
really again from Emma.
Mhm.
But Harriet sees
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Mr.
right?
Robert Martin.
And Emma is rude.
She walked right past him. She doesn't give him the time of
Doesn't
day.
even- right? But in the Gwyneth version, she at
She
least
meets
greets
him.
him.
Yeah,
Like
she
she
said,
would
"This is
any
Miss
person.
Woodhouse."
In fact, in the Gwyneth version, as you see, every time she's in a coach, she says, "Hello, Mrs. So."
Yes.
Hello. She greets everyone.
Because remember, she is like the lady of the county.
That's right.
She is the person who everyone looks up to.
Yes.
Because she is,
Yep. What about exchanges of Knightley and Emma again in this 2020 version?
Yes,
I don't see the flirtiness going on.
No.
I don't see the flirtation like in the Gwyneth version, right?
No.
And Harriet does mention that Emma is the prettiest woman in all of Highbury,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then doesn't Emma say something, but never say that in front of Knightley.
Don't ever compliment me in front of Mr. Knightley.
But he does at least say something there and mentions
He
that
says something like, well,
it's surprising how non-vain you are,
Yes.
considering how handsome
Considering
you are.
how
So
handsome
at
you
least
are.
he said that.
Yes, he does say she's handsome, but then he says, but you have, like, you're vain in other ways.
Yes, but
Thank you.
just, there is no banter between
No,
them.
the
There's not
flirtatious banter.
this little, and this friendship that
Yes.
we've seen in the end. The other one, we constantly
Yes.
see this, Mr. Knightley was a fixture. He was
Yes.
part of the furniture. He was always there.
Always the
and-
brightest part of our
Yes.
lives.
And
That's what
we
she
don't
says.
see that in this. We see
No.
them fight throughout.
That's
the
all they
whole
do,
thing,
really, is fight. Yes.
They need some marriage counseling, I'll tell you that, before they tie the knot. So, in the 2020 version, Mr. Elton, right, is praising Emma's portrait of Harriet.
Yes.
I don't think it's nearly as funny as in the Gwyneth version.
No.
There's hardly
Because
anything on the canvas, right? He said
he's
he's
captured Miss Smith. Perfect. And she goes, really, Mr. Elton, you exaggerate.
Yes, right.
And there's like a little outline of a face.
Whereas this one had and then this one also had the unveiling, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't quite.
I
as
just don't
funny
think
to
it
me.
was as
too
funny.
over the top.
He was
The
like-
musical frame. I guess that was funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in the Gwyneth version, remember how hilarious when the father says, "Oh, you should have painted a shawl on her, dear."
It looks as though it might be cold. He goes, no,
I love that. She should have painted a shawl on her. But anyway.
Yeah, and even when Mr. Knightley says, "You've made her too tall," and then he goes, "Well, it may not be Miss Smith's height and stature, but it's certainly her height of character." And they're like, "Oh, he wants you. He likes you." There's just
she looks
jokes.
at it. There's so many giggling moments in this one, which is what Emma was. It's this
which is what Jane Austen loved.
Yes.
She loved all those giggles.
Yes. And
She
then
wrote it into the
she
book.
did. It's supposed to be there. It just wasn't enough of it to me in this 2020 version. Knightley is talking to Miss Weston, right? He's kind of
later
dry.
he talks to
he's
Mrs.
kind of
Weston.
drab and monotone.
Yes.
And he says that he should like to see Emma in love, right?
In doubt of a return. Do you know what that means? Like, I'd like to see her in love and not know if the guy likes her back. It would do her good because everyone loves her, everyone praises her.
Right.
She's got a little bit of an ego.
I mean,
I thought it was a rather harsh. Would you want that for someone that you loved?
No.
I don't know, and I can't remember if that's in the book actually.
Yes.
That part.
Well,
But-
and then something funny that you noticed is that you said that you noticed that Knightley was riding with Mr. Martin.
Yes.
And you didn't think
He
that would.
He galloped up to Robert Martin's farm, Abbey Mill Farm, and said, "Come on, Martin, let's go."
As if
jumped
they were
on his
like
horse. Like they were
buddies.
just buddies, like riding around
You
town.
didn't get that. They were of different classes, so I don't think they would be buddies.
I don't
really.
quite think. I mean, he was his
respected
mentor.
him, and
yes,
he liked him,
asked him,
but
should I
as-
propose?
right.
And, he.
I don't know. I mean,
asked
in
him
the
about
Gwyneth
things,
version,
but-
Knightley does say, he asked me, and I think, but I don't
But
know
he's
if
more
they
of
would.
I think he's more of like
The overseer.
Yes.
He went to him for some advice as to hanging
business
out.
advice,
buddies.
and other things. Yes.
I don't know. And then Robert Martin's proposal letter comes,
Yeah.
right? And in the Gwyneth version, right, it's more according to the book.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
She's funny. Oh, what is the line?
When she says, I wrote it down because it's hilarious. She goes, "If you prefer Mr. Martin to every other person you know or may ever know, if you think him the most agreeable man you have ever met or ever will be in company with, then why should you hesitate?" I mean, it's like, well, wait a minute here. And that's almost exactly out of the book. It's hilarious. And they really sort of skipped the comedy in that moment.
And you see that so much more in the Gwyneth Paltrow version.
Yes.
Lines taken straight from the book.
Straight from the book.
We love.
That are
That's what makes
hilarious.
it Austen.
Yes.
Right.
Jane was quite
okay.
comical, yes.
So Knightley and Emma, they discuss Robert Martin's proposal to Harriet, right? Now, in the Gwyneth version, this is my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes.
It's adorable.
It is absolutely darling. They're shooting, right? Archery.
They're having some archery.
Okay.
Target practice.
Yes.
Which I also like. Shows
Yes.
that she's got a little bit of, something else.
They do lots of beautiful scenes in the Gwyneth version in different locations.
Yes. They have that
sitting in
big
there in the
tent.
garden with the fishbowl with the fish
Yes.
in the tent.
In the tent,
Having
yes.
tea, right?
Yes, they do a lot
doing
of things.
the archery, all
Beautiful.
these different locations that are absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
So anyway,
They're
he
shooting.
says, vanity working on a weak mind produces every kind of mischief, right?
Mhm.
Men of sense, whatever you say, do not want silly wives.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yes, and she's getting more and more rattled
Yes.
with every time. I mean, at first she gets like a bullseye,
Yes.
right? And she's like,
Right.
oh, she
Right.
knows her stuff. She's good
Right.
at this. And then as he's telling her,
Yes.
why would you who is she?
Yes.
She's nobody. Why would you think
And
it's
it's
a good match?
this whole scene is a metaphor, like she's missing the mark, right?
Mhm.
As her arrows get worse and worse.
Yes,
Why did you
and
tell
they
her
do
not
get
to
worse.
marry this guy? He was great for her. She's a nobody.
Yes.
She was actually marrying up, and
Yes.
you spoiled it,
Mhm.
But still,
You're trying
in this,
yes.
you see the camaraderie.
Yes.
He still makes the joke at the end and says, try not to kill my dogs. When she almost hits the dogs.
She misses the
the
target
arrow.
completely, almost hits the dog.
You know?
Yes, there's still an element of humor, not just a fight.
Even in their quarrels.
Mhm. And you can still see that they
the
will
bond.
Yes.
The relationship
Yes,
there.
that they are remaining
Yeah.
close,
Yeah.
and that's why they can talk to each other.
Yes. Whereas in the 2020, when Knightley is chiding Emma for persuading Harriet to decline, right?
Yes.
They are literally,
He's quite angry.
Yeah.
They start shouting at each other and
Yes.
are literally screaming over
Yes.
each other while they're both talking at the same time.
Yeah.
I was a little bit uncomfortable. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I thought,
It's like
oh.
they hate each other.
I mean, yeah, it's so odd. I just don't understand why they would take that route
Yeah.
and have them be so at odds with nary a time where they
Right.
have, perhaps this could be
Right.
something.
When in reality, in the book and in the Gwyneth version, they have a relationship which they've had for a long time.
Mhm.
They're best friends that fall in
Yes,
love.
yes.
That's what they are,
Right.
which is what makes
Right.
the perfect romance, right?
Right.
So
And there should be a sort of spark or a
Yes.
sort of,
Yes.
you can tell there's something,
Right. Right.
There's no chemistry, I don't think.
no chemistry.
In the
So
2020.
Knightley says to her in the 2020, you make no secret, right, of your
Yes.
love of matchmaking.
Yes.
But
Which
didn't
I,
you say-
I thought, I could have fooled me. I haven't seen her talk about it very
No.
much.
Whereas in the other one, like we
Yes.
said, they mention the matchmaking,
Yes.
right? She lies to him and says, she's done with
I'm
matchmaking and only
Yeah.
wants to keep Harriet for herself.
Which is in the book.
Yes.
She tells
So
him
that part was good.
Yeah, that's good.
One thing that we definitely missed in this 2020 version was the riddles. That's
Yes.
from the book, isn't it, my dear?
Yes.
So in the Gwyneth
Yes,
version,
the
right?
riddle. Harriet is collecting a book of riddles.
Yes.
And she asks, I'm sorry, I've jumped over.
No, go.
And she asks Mr. Elton if he would contribute to her riddle book.
Yes.
And then, of course, Knightley pops in, you didn't ask me for a riddle. She goes, your whole personality is a riddle, Mr. Knightley. We thought we overqualified. I mean, flirtatious, so flirtatious.
You're
I had to
talking
do that
in Gwyneth.
In the Gwyneth.
In Gwyneth, yes.
It's so flirtatious,
Yes.
right? Every little thing.
We don't
And
see
now
any
they're
of this
joking.
riddle stuff in the
No.
2021.
They completely take out the riddle.
And it's a hilarious part,
It is
right? Where
so
Emma gets
funny.
the riddle and her and Harriet are
Yes.
reading, and Harriet can't
He
figure it out.
drops it off at Emma's
Ship,
house.
dear, ship.
Yeah.
Cold ship.
A thing which displays pomp and
Oh,
court.
dear.
Someone
Dear, someone's phone, dear. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. The 20th century is creeping in upon us. Did you silence
It
that
was
darn
dear
thing?
Papa. I'm so sorry. My dear Papa was calling.
We apologize. Now let us get back on track.
Yes.
There. All right. Well, where was I? What was I saying?
Well, we were saying the riddles, the book
Yes.
of riddles, and Harriet kind of shows
Yes.
that she's not the smartest. Let's say this, she's one sandwich short of a picnic.
But it's endearing.
But it's endearing.
It's cute.
I mean, he says, my first displays the pomp of king. What displays the king?
King.
Court, dear. He displays his pomp and court.
Yes.
And
we
then she goes,
love that.
then
Basically,
she-
we love the
it's
riddles.
hilarious.
We
Oh, do you
love
think
the
we should
riddles.
ever know?
And we miss that the 2020 did not have the riddles,
Mhm.
right?
And she goes, you are his desire. He's making his, she's telling
Yes.
him he's making his
Yes.
desires known for you.
Well, and then they have that whole hilarious thing in this one, right? Where, isn't this the part, her and Harriet go to visit the poor?
Yes.
And Harriet, which, once again, that's pointing out Emma's character
Yes.
here. She's
Again, it's
kind,
the lady of the county.
She's taking care of the poor. And do you notice how she takes them? She's not in there going,
No.
here we
She
go, let me
gets
do my
down,
duty. She loves them. It reminds me of
Exactly.
like Lady Diana type thing.
Yes.
She's touching them.
She
she's
plucks up
helping
her
them.
pillows and she helps.
So it's a
Yes.
beautiful scene.
It's
and
really
then
sweet.
it's made comical when Harriet just does such a horrible job.
Yes.
Well, Emma
Well,
goes and says how wonderful of a job she did
She's trying
to Elton.
she's trying to make her
Right.
seem really good to Mr.
Yes.
Elton, and she says, "Tell him what
Yes.
you did." And she's like, and then they show
Yes.
the flashbacks of her like
Yes.
brushing lettuce off herself and knocking
Yes.
over the whole thing. And it's
So
just-
we miss all of that.
Stepping on
I
the
feel
cat's
like
tail.
they literally took chunks,
Yes.
huge chunks out of this, and filled them with what?
with what? That is exactly
We
my
lost
thought.
so much, but I don't know
What
what
did
it
they
got
fill it
filled
with?
with. I can't for the life of me figure it out.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. In the 2020 version, when Emma's sister comes to visit, right?
Yes.
That's very different.
It is like an angry tornado. They come in and they're just like all upset, and the father
can't handle the children.
It looks like the husband and wife hate each other. No one can handle
Right.
the children. I mean, it's just like, if I were Knightley, I wouldn't want to get married either. I mean, I'd just be like,
no,
save me from that.
It's not a pretty picture.
No.
Whereas in the Gwyneth version, they're just normal.
Yes.
People
Sister
and they
dear.
come. And
Yes,
it leads into the beautiful quote of Knightley where he says how fetching the baby looks in Emma's
the arms of her aunt.
This
Yes.
is the Gwyneth one we're talking about.
And you see a little bit of a foreshadowing
Right,
here. He's sitting next to her and she's holding the blonde baby that looks just like her.
And even though at this point in the Gwyneth version, he and Emma have had that big quarrel, they make up again, right?
Yes.
Let us take hands and quarrel
Let's
no
shake
more.
hands with me, yes.
So
and she seems genuinely sorry to have hurt Mr. Martin. She says, I hope he wasn't too upset. And he goes, no man could be more so.
Yes.
She goes, well, then I'm truly sorry.
Yes.
Like, I'm really sorry for it, you know.
Yes.
And you see...
Well, dear, now listen, we are at about a 30-minute mark.
Yes.
So I think that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pause here.
Pause.
And we will have this in part 1.
Installments. We shall do installments.
Yes, and we shall take up on our next video where we left off with Christmas.
Yes. Perfect.
Perfect, don't you think?
I love it.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed it. We also, of course, hope that you have watched both versions.
Yes, and if you have not, go and do it now.
Yes.
Although I know a lot of you did not want to pay the $20 to rent the new version, but I mean, it's still Jane Austen. It's worth a watch.
Austen. We've watched every.
You have to watch.
You have to watch every version, right?
Plus, what else are you doing?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
If there's 20 Pride and Prejudice, we'd still watch every 21 of them, right?
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
So yes,
it's still worth a watch.
But of course, when you really want to make yourself feel good, go and get out the old classic one with Paltrow and Jeremy Northam. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Yes.
All right. Yes. We shall see you soon for our next installment. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Get your fan.
No, I can't use this. Look, it's the same colour.
Well, yes, it matches perfectly.
No, it blends right in. Look, you can't even... Where's the fan? There it is. Where's Angelique?
Oh, right, fine. Here, you take the pretty one, I'll take the garish one.
I never wanted those feathers anyway. It's disgraceful.
Look at this. We look like geisha girls. Oh, with all this colour. It's much too bright, dear. Yes, we did the fan flipping.
I wish I could. I'm sadly lacking.
Oh,
yes.
dear.
3 little maids from school are we. But we're 2. 2 little maids from school are we. Put as a school go welcome me. 3 little maids.
Oh, shut up. All right. Hello and welcome to the Sister Sanditon. Oh, the Sister Sanditon.
We don't have Sydney between us.
No. This is so sad, isn't it?
I feel like I'm cheating on Mr. Sydney Parker.
Oh, no.
And we've only had one date. I feel perfectly naked without him sitting on my shoulder.
We have to branch out a little bit now.
Yes, I suppose so. Oh, Sydney. We haven't forgotten you.
No.
Call me.
You know.
Oh, poor Papa. Why did he have to call me at that exact moment?
Dear, why didn't you turn it on
If he had just waited 4 minutes, we would have been done. I'm just like Emma. I had to take care of my poor dear father. He didn't call you, did he? He called me. That says something.
No, dear, I have my phone on silent.
Yes, well, and I do think that shows more and more of them going, why do you keep nudging me?
To tell you to be quiet because you're talking too much.
Look, Mama, why do you keep winking at me? Wink at you? Why should I wink at my own daughter, pray tell? But now that you mention it, yes. Quote Mrs.
Exactly.
Bennet. Yes, nudging me under the table in the arm, poking me in the leg, kicking me under the table. For pity's sake. All right, I know I'm long-winded.
But that's to shut you up somehow, dear.
That's what keeps us going, isn't it? I can't just sit there all day.
All right, let's move on.
Where's your mask, dear?
Oh, to hell with the quarantine.
Dear.
I haven't been anywhere in 5 weeks, dear. I can't be sick.
I wonder if I should put up a partition.
We are family, dear. And family sticks together.